Hello everyone, it is Tuesday and it's time for things that make you go mmm. And today's topic is compromise or sacrifice. And this was inspired by my friend who called me after she watched last week's, which was about compatibility, where I talked about how being able to compromise with someone is a sign of compatibility. And she asked me the question, how do you know if you're compromising or sacrificing? And we had a big conversation about it, and it got me thinking and that would be a really good topic. So thank you to you, my dear, you know who you are, for the idea of this topic. Because compromise, although challenging, in the end is an and sacrifice is a and it does not serve at all. So let's start with the difference between compromise and sacrifice. Compromise, as we talked about last week, is an agreement or a settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions. So it's not quite a win-win, but it's not a lose-lose, and it's not a win-lose. It is a slightly less of a win and slightly less of a win. Sacrifice, on the other hand, is an act of giving something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important or worthy. And when I read that definition, I was like, holy. And most of us, I'm sure, have sacrificed at some point or another and thought we were doing a good thing. For whatever reason, whatever misguided reason. And then when I read that, giving up something valued for the sake of something regarded more important or worthy, I thought, oh my goodness, that is not a healthy thing. That is something that rips you down, tears you apart, and makes you less of who you are. And I am all about being who you are. So sacrifice is not part of the equation. Whereas compromise, you're not reducing who you are. You're just making allowances for the needs of someone else. It's really hard to cross that line, knowing which one is which sometimes. The way in a nutshell, compromise in the end nurtures, whereas sacrifice undermines. Because one person becomes less and less and less and less over time. And that does not serve you as a person or the relationship either. So let's just say compromise, good. Sacrifice, not so great. And there's 3 keys, I think, to knowing how to compromise or when to compromise. First one is you never ever give up your values. We've talked about values before. And I mentioned that my top 2 are integrity and authenticity. So if someone comes along and in order to make them happy and to compromise, I am actually sacrificing one of those core values, that is not compromise. That is giving way too much. So for example, if someone wants me to lie or be otherwise out of my integrity, then I'm sacrificing part of who I am, and that is not compromise. Or if I'm not allowed to be who I am, I'm sacrificing my authenticity, and that's not cool either. So knowing your core values are really important, because if you need to minimize them, limit them, go against them, then you're sacrificing, and that is not the direction you want to go. The second one is, do you come out feeling valued and heard? We talked about being valued and heard last week, and that has become kind of my catchphrase, my way of looking at life since that phrase came into my brain. Because if you're not feeling valued and heard, then you're not compromising. You're not the person that you are in negotiations with is not respecting you. So then you're sacrificing. And that is not an that does not make me go and I'm sure it doesn't do it for you either. And if it's really important to one but not to the other person that you're in negotiation with, then be generous. You know, you don't have to fight about every little battle. My friend who gave me the idea for this topic was talking about how someone who she spends a lot of time with is very, well, OCD, to be perfectly clear, about the toothpaste. So he needs to have it rolled up in a certain way and nothing else will do. And to her, it's not a big deal. She doesn't really care as long as you don't squeeze it from the middle, you know. So it's not a big deal for her to let him have it his way. Whereas one of her very important things is animals. So if he is disrespecting animals, or like if he pretends to run over a rabbit in the road or something like that, that is really difficult for her, and that is him not respecting what her values are and what is important to her. So basically, very simply, if there's a matter of degree. So if something is extremely important to one person and not so much to the other person, it's not really sacrificing to say, okay, let's do it your way. It's not really a big deal to me. Let's just leave it at that. So some statements or questions that you can use when you're in negotiations with someone and compromise is required are: let's find a way to split the difference or meet in the middle. And that is the definition of compromise. 1 second. The cat came in and opened the door. You can hear the chainsaw outside. So let's find a way to split the difference or meet in the middle. That's the definition of compromise. Finding a way to make both parties happy with tiny little adjustments on either side. This one is my favorite. If you're doing it, you get to do it your way. If I'm doing it, I do it my way. And so, for example, if you're driving somewhere and you like to go one way, but the person who's driving likes to go a different way, it's not the end of the world if you let them go the way they like to go. So just let them do it. And then when you drive, you get to go your way. Or if one person is doing the dishes and the other person is like, I hate it when you do it that way. They're doing it. Just let them do it. And it makes life so much more harmonious. And it's really no skin off your nose if they do the pots before the plastics. Although, that would drive me crazy. But that is a great way to just keep things on an even keel. Because if it's not really that critical to life and to your values, just breathe and let it go. And another statement or way to negotiate is to say, if you do this, I'll do that. So if you really need someone to do the dishes, and because you really hate them, and say they hate vacuuming, so if you do the dishes, I'll vacuum. You set up the tent, I'll gather the firewood. You know, whatever it happens to be, find a way for both of you to do something that makes it work for the other person. And one more is part of what I get, part of what I want, and you get part of what you want. So that's kind of going back to let's find a way to split the difference and meet in the middle. Seems pretty basic, but it can be really tough. And think one of the secrets of getting into of compromise is don't do it when you're mad. Because then you just want your way. It's like, I don't care, just duh. It's my way or the highway. And if you do it when both people are calm, then you make a lot more headway. What it really boils down to is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? That can be a really tough comment sometimes, but it's also really valuable because we get so wrapped up in, I can't give in because then I'm going to get walked all over. I'm going to be a doormat. But really, is that really the case? And if you're with someone who's going to make that happen or make you feel that way, something's wrong. So realize that compromise makes a relationship work. And keep saying to yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And if it's not something that goes against your core values, if it's not something that's super important to you, if it's something that can be done many different ways, just let it be. My door does not want to stay closed today. I got a quote for you. It's from my calendar, my badass calendar. And it says, you can't see the silver lining through victim goggles. That's first, that doesn't seem like it may not seem like it matches the topic. But think about it. Sometimes it feels like if I compromise, if I give in, I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to be a doormat. And really, the compromise is the silver lining. It's the way to make your relationship work. It's the way to get to the It's the way to live in harmony with other people. And we get so wrapped up in being right and getting our way and getting our message across that sometimes we go too far. That we get wrapped up in the minutia of life when it's really all about finding ways to be together and finding ways that we are alike rather than different, and really making the love, the joy, the harmony come together. So, do you want to compromise or sacrifice, or on the other hand, be the bully and always get your way? Find a way to compromise. Find a way to stand up for your values and what you need, while at the same time being willing to give where you can and where you are able, where you aren't sacrificing something very, very important to you. A little bit of homework for you. If you don't know what your values are, what your core values are, there's lots of quizzes online. Just look up core values test, core values quiz, and you'll find lots to choose from. And I'd also like you to just take a hard look at your patterns. Are you a compromiser or a sacrificer, or, this just came to me, a bully? And how would you rather be in your relationships? Will it work better for you to be a good compromiser, to be the light and the willing participant in making something work rather than always being at odds? Okay, sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. So that's it for today. As you know, if you've been listening before, I do have a couple of books. My novel is called Serial Love, and it is an erotic novel. It is a thriller, and it's, I'm told, a really easy and fun and hot read. So if you'd like to pick it up, I hope you'll go to Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or paperback. And what I love about this book is the cover. It is so soft. It feels like butter. So it's a really super sexy book. just in the cover. And you can also get it on my website, which is thebadkitty.com, THEBADKITTY, kitty, thebadkitty.com. Make sure you put the in there. And on the website, you can get it in PDF format. And if you get it on the website, you actually get 3 gifts along with it. And they are the Achieve Your Ultimate Success DVD, which I'm featured on, the Living Proof, celebrating the gifts that came wrapped in sandpaper book that was put out by Lisa Nichols of The Secret, if you're familiar with her. I have a short story in there. And the Bad Kitty Handbook, which is my nonfiction book, Journey Toward Authentic Female Sensuality. And a lot of my core values, core beliefs, sorry, I completely cannot remember the word that I want to use. Oh my God. Every once in a while people say, you should be on radio. I'm like, I have so much trouble keeping 20 minutes of conversation going up, let alone a whole few hours. Anyway, sorry. That's just my own little side thought. Anyway, Bad Kitty Handbook. It is tells you all about how to be more authentic in your life. And this one is available as well on Amazon on its own in either Kindle or paperback. And I hope you'll take some time, take a look at those and pick up whatever you enjoy. Please do your homework, do your values test, and do some soul searching about compromise, sacrifice, or bullying. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, whether you join me live or joining me later. I really, really love that you took the time to be with me tonight. Happy Tuesday, and stay sexy, everybody.